Two, one, live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Knights of the Turntable. I am your host, Charles Singletary, and with me I have our two regulars. First off, I have Joe Hova.
Yo, what's up?
All right, and I also have Gary Swaby.
Hey, what's up?
And I want to thank you for being around this time because it's like 1 in the morning. But let's go ahead and jump right into everything. First off, what are y'all listening to right now? Has that changed over the last couple weeks? Joe?
What am I listening to right now? I think the only thing different that I've listened to in like the last week or since the last time we did this is that new Party Next Door project.
How was that? I have it, but I haven't listened yet.
It's it has its moments, but I've only listened to it like once or twice, so I still need to listen to more. But I still been listening to that Jeremiah and that Majid Jordan.
Gotcha. Yeah, you told me about that. I need to check that out. Like with Party Next Door, I have the first project that blew him up too, and I still haven't listened to that. Like I have the Recognized joint with Drake. That's on one of the playlists. I think the week 2, and it was good. Like Drake didn't necessarily need to be on that track though.
See, I think it's the other way around. I think like Drake makes that song. Like it could have just been a Drake song.
A lot of people say that about anything Drake's featured on, which most of the time it is true.
True.
How about you, Gary? What do you listen to?
Well, after the last episode, I tried to make sure that I listened to something. I listened to your playlist last week, and I like the Big Crit song the most. I can't remember the name right now.
God dang it.
The joint with Rico Love or Mount Olympus?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that
The
one.
Rico Love one.
Yeah, that's my favorite song.
Pay more attention. Pay attention. Something like that.
Yeah.
But that joint is dope. I love that. Did you listen to that one, Joe?
I have not. I've been kind of like, I haven't been distancing myself from Crit, but like I don't want to get let down by this album, so I'm kind of like,
man, look, I'm telling you, with the week of Crit, Mount Olympus, and this Pay Attention joint, I am ready and willing. My soul is ready for this project. I do not think it's going to touch being a disappointment, including the track that's in the trailer, which is ridiculously dope.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We listened to that on the way to South by Southwest.
Yeah, probably like 10 times. All right, but all right. So you know what? Matter of fact, that statement about Big Crit letting you down. So look, expand upon that real quick. Where does that statement come from?
Well, the thing with Big Crit is like, I discovered Crit was here. Like that was 2010 is when Crit was here dropped, and so I discovered that, and it was just like. That was that and Dom Kennedy's From the West Side with Love. Like those two albums are the only ones I played all summer long for 2010. Like literally, I had them constantly rotating. But after that, like it felt like each project was diminished value for Big Crit. Like it just seemed like he was rapping less about life and coming up in the struggle, and he was rapping more about his old school Cadillac. And then he dropped the album, and it was just like, it's like there's some good songs on here, but at the same time, there's there's like 7 songs about his car.
Okay, I agree that Live from the Underground was not very good. It was good, but it was very different from his older stuff. But did you listen to Forever in a Day?
I did listen to Forever in a Day.
I thought that should have been the album. I thought that was a great project.
That actually, you know what happened with Rick Ross's Rich Forever?
Yeah.
That could actually be the same thing that happened to Crit with Forever in a Day. Because that sounded like an album.
The sample clearances and whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I mean, he's had problems with that before, so I wouldn't even be surprised.
And that's the problem. Def Jam should clear, like, get those samples cleared for him.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to our first topic, where is judging an artist by previous works, giving them a fair shake, or should we approach each project with a clear palette? And what sparked that thought was a guy I actually wanted to have on here tonight, but he's at a Guardians of the Galaxy viewing. Lee talked about the Common album and how what you expect from Common you don't get on the album. Have you listened to it yet?
I have not.
Okay, that's fine. Because I'm not gonna put you to listen to it, except for just like argument's sake. But
Common's music does nothing for me anymore. Like after Finding Forever, it just hasn't been anything I wanted to listen to.
I'll tell you, I agree. After Finding Forever has been a decline, but I mean, that project right after that, I can't remember the name of it, but it was
Universal Mind Control.
Yeah, that one was horrible. I don't know why that even happened. And then Dreamer Believer was good.
But it had the Drake beef involved with it, so nobody was checking for it.
That kind of sullied the whole thing around, especially since he kind of admitted that he beefed with him to promote the project.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, come on, man. Like, either stick to your guns or just don't do that at all. Just let the music speak for itself. Then, and on that project, I thought the production was really. It has ups and downs. Like, No Idea is good. But I couldn't listen to everything on there. But on this album, I like the production more, and Common's raps a lot less. I got bored. He bored me to tears. I couldn't really relate to much he was saying. The best song on there to me is Dilla's the tribute to Jay Dilla.
Anything with Common and Dilla is great.
Yeah, anything related to them is going to be great. Pretty much anything related to Dilla that anybody does, except for Charles Hamilton, is going to be amazing. But yeah, like I know Gary tried to listen to it, but he only got like one song in, right?
Yeah, because I had to do other things. So, I was listening on Spotify, and I had to pause it, and then I never go back to listening to it again. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can't even really give like a fair opinion of it.
That's fine. But I'm sure y'all have had situations where y'all listened to an album by a long-standing artist and kind of judged it based on their older things. I mean, it's in our nature. But do y'all think that should continue to be the same? Because Lupe, I always come back to Lupe, but Lupe is changing up a lot, and I'm getting to the point where if I judge him by his old stuff, it's just gonna be a fail every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do y'all think about that?
I personally think that each album is supposed to be looked at as its own individual body of work. So you should judge that individual project, but at the same time, it's impossible to forget what that artist has done previously, and that can and will influence your opinion a little bit, when you're judging that album. So yeah, like you said, it's natural, but I do try to look at each album as like an individual body of work and judge it on its own.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that because, like Gary said, each album is an individual body of work, and therein lies the problem. Is like you have artists like Nas who creates like such a great album with his first album, and then every album has to live up to Illmatic, or Kendrick. Every album has to live up to Good Kid, Mad City, whereas people don't give it a chance to, see what he can do on this next one.
That's true. That is true. But all right, so Joe, give me a favorite artist of yours, like
Jay-Z.
right now. Jay-Z. Well, shoot. A lot of people make the argument for Jay-Z because he changes up a lot anyway. But I mean, he made the perfect statement. If you want my old shit, buy my old albums.
Exactly.
And I think I'm leaning that way as I'm maturing with my listening and stuff. I try to take projects for what they are. And I think that's why I like a lot of concept albums, because they automatically put you in that mindset anyway.
Like 808s. 808s is one of my favorite. 808s and Purple Rain are two of my favorite albums ever, and they're both pretty much concept albums.
Yes, that is a perfect example, because when 808s dropped, I hated it at first.
Same here.
But man, I fell in love with that project. Even another example, Andre 3000, Love Below.
Yeah.
he was always quirky, but you weren't expecting that album from him. And I didn't know what I was listening to the first time I listened to it. But as I got older, I was like, this is an amazing album, if not one of my favorites ever. And it's very different from anything that he's done or probably will do. Like, matter of fact, I don't know if I want him to even do a solo album because it'll probably sully his career. But that's another topic for another day. But Gary, what's one of your favorites? One of your favorite artists right now, other than 50 Cent?
Other than 50 Cent. Well, you already said Jay-Z, so.
Well, actually, you know what? I'll use 50 Cent as an example. So, how would you feel if 50 came out rapping like Young Thug for a whole project? I know Joe would love that, but how would you feel?
I would be disappointed.
You would be disappointed.
Yeah.
But is it mainly because of how Young Thug raps or the fact that it's not what 50 normally does?
Yeah, I mean, I guess with certain artists, you have an expectation of what the project should be based on their persona, whatever. And, for 50 to kind of like go that direction, that would be so left field that it's like, it's not even acceptable at that point.
Yeah.
So,
I think we'll always be somewhat guilty of thinking of the stuff in the past. Because if you think about it, those past projects are what made us fans. So, of course, we're going to, judge it by that. And
we identify that's how we identify with that artist is based off of that project we fell in love with. So it's only right, but at the same time you got to give it's a clean slate. You have to give each project at least a listen.
Yeah, I agree. And a big change like that. A good example of that recently was Absol's These Days, because if you even slightly think of the old Absol, you're gonna hate 90% of that whole project. But I can appreciate, not necessarily appreciate, I can understand why he had to do the project that way to kind of gain a following, which I hate that artists have to even do that with like mainstream, but I'm not in their pockets, so it's their money. They got to do what they got to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
because the industry does have an influence over how an album can turn out, and like Jay said earlier, like with Lupe and everything, you I can't even remember what I was trying to say, but yeah.
I hear you. But I'm gonna go ahead and move into the next topic, which me and you are the only ones that really have something to say about this. Joe didn't get a chance to listen to it, but what do you think about the recent Daylight versus Charlie Clips battle that was on King of the Dot?
You asking me or Jay?
You. Joe didn't get a chance to check it out.
So, yeah. I think Charlie Clips got it 2-1. It was very close, I think. I gave Daylight round 1 and Clips round 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's along the same line of thinking for me. I was glad. I really wanted Jay to check that out just because I wanted to erase the memory of the Daylight from the Slaughterhouse event. And I think that would have been a good battle to do it because he came out shooting on all cylinders. He definitely won the first round. Like, I can't remember like how he set up the scheme, but the scheme where he was kind of repeating everything. It was kind of the same tempo or the same phrase, but it was a play on words the entire time. That whole scheme was like, really awesome.
Get your ass popped on cam, you like to twerk, all that stuff.
Yeah. That whole thing was dope. And I hope he keeps coming with fresh stuff like that every time he battles. Because
that's the thing with Daylight. When he actually tries, he's a monster. But
exactly.
He does his antics to get attention.
Awesome. All right, excuse me. But yeah, I definitely agree, and I think that kind of stuff will keep him in top tier for sure. It's just he got to remain consistent. But Charlie Clips though has grown as one of my favorite battlers though, because with him, I can't really think of a time where he really doesn't perform well.
Yeah.
And even when he messes up, like he can freestyle pretty good.
Yeah.
So
He's
yeah, he
dangerous because like Clips is killing battle rappers, and he's not even going 100%. Like he could
exactly.
be half-assing the battle and still win. So
Yeah.
imagine when he actually tries, because a
Yep.
lot of his battles he writes like the day or a few days before the battle.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely a testament to his brilliance. So, like, I'm kind of glad. Like, I know you like Smack more than KOTD, but I'm glad that he's over on the KOTD side because his style, you don't have as much of that over on the KOTD side, and I'm glad he can bring that to them. So that's dope. But yeah, Joe, you definitely gonna have to check that out just so you can see what Daylight does when he takes himself seriously or takes the event seriously and finishes the whole thing out. Speaking of taking things seriously, how did you guys feel about the new Nicki Minaj album cover that dropped recently? I will start with Joe.
Um, it's awful funny that she dropped something like that, and then to see the outlash and the response, and it's just it was crazy to see like somebody basically wrote her, you don't have to do this letter. like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's nonsense because like it dropped, and then she kind of tried to um, make it a parallel to white women that are dressed similarly in other major media forms and stuff like that. But the first thing I saw was her album cover alongside a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, and I'm like, that it's a swimsuit edition. That's like what it's for.
Yeah, like that's supposed to be in there.
Like, it's not like they're marketing something that is not that with that. It's the actual swimsuit edition. So yeah, and like her having all that out on the album cover, I was like, what kind of message are you actually trying to send?
Well, that's the thing. That's not even the album cover. That's just the cover for the single for Anaconda.
Oh, that was the single cover.
That's just the
I
single.
I thought there was a different single cover for Anaconda.
They're once they dropped that one, they dropped a second one that was like PG-13 friendly, I guess.
Okay.
But it's still Nicki in a bikini.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, I have to look into that a little bit more. Well, if those are just the single covers, then I'm curious what the album cover is going to be like. But what'd you think about it all, Gary? Did you get to see it at all or see any of the backlash?
Yeah, well, it was a nice sight. You know, I like looking at Nicki Minaj, even though I don't like. But I don't even know what her direction is for this new project or whatever. I haven't even listened to any of her music in like years. So like, has she gone more serious, or is she still doing like the whole gimmicks and?
She's not doing the what would you call it? Like the schizophrenic voices raps or anymore. Like she's actually like legitimately trying to like steer away from that now.
So she's actually rapping like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I listened to the snippet for the Anaconda joint, and because I haven't listened to the whole song, and it's still not very appealing to me. Like even her just rapping. I'm glad she got away from the whole schizophrenic thing, but I guess I need to hear more of a gritty Nicki, like the monster Nicki, and way before, like before she signed her deal, that Nicki.
Like the Beam Me Up Scotty mixtape stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But because I mean, I don't know. It's just like she's taking this opportunity and kind of making a joke out of it. Because she could be the dopest female MC lyrically if she wanted to, but I don't think she cares.
Well, right now she's feeling threatened too right now because Iggy had the #1 song the entire summer on Billboard and top 40 charts.
Yeah, and like with those two, I'd really much rather have Nicki win that one because Iggy
is annoying.
Is annoying, and I swear, like, I feel like she's a slap in the face that everyone is just embracing, and I don't understand why.
You know what's funny is her material's not similar, but I view her as the woman version of Macklemore for top 40 rap.
You know what? To an extent, I can agree with you. I put her more like Riff Raff though. Because like,
if she hops on that Tiptoeing in My Jordans remix, it might be over.
It's like, I feel like with Iggy, she took a perceived image of a fan base or whatever, or what they look for, and like is completely mocking it. But they're buying it. Because I'm like, listen to her interviews. This is not what she sounds like at all. Like, that exaggerated tone that she has and the accent is imitating. And I don't understand why people love it so much.
Because her appeal is not for us. Her appeal's for 13 to 18-year-old white girls.
That's not where it started, though. Like, she got to that point, but people had to push her up there. Like, for example, T.I. Like, oh, man.
T.I.'s trying to cash in on his Lady Gaga. That's what Iggy is for him. That is exactly what Iggy is for him.
Wait, she signed to T.I.?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She signed to Grand Hustle.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, man, like, T.I. has a knack for finding sellouts, man. Like, her and B.O.B., like, I don't know what it is, but T.I. can find them. He has an ear for it. It's ridiculous.
But you know what's crazy, though, is, like, B.O.B.'s first album was actually really good.
I enjoyed it. And then what made it better was him dropping that No Genre right afterwards. And I was like, that was fire. And I still have yet to sit through No Genre 2 because of all the stuff I've had to deal with for B.O.B. Because, like, he is a talented artist. But, my goodness, he sold out so hard. And it wasn't ashamed of it at all. But he can go ahead and take his top 40 rap with him. I hope him and Iggy just fall way off by the end of the year.
You know what? Before this summer, I had prided myself on not listening to a song from Iggy Azalea or Azalea Banks. And now
Azalea Banks, I still haven't listened. Well, no, I watched one of the videos that she did that was pretty nutty.
And now I can only say that for one.
So you still know Azalea Banks still?
Still have never listened to an Azalea Banks song.
I've never listened to her either.
Yeah, don't even bother. Because she's like, with her, I feel like she tried to sell out too soon, and like she jumped the gun a little bit, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because she had, I think, one of the first songs I heard from her, I was like, okay, she can be pretty dope. You know, she seems like she can rap. And then she tried to kind of objectify herself and make herself into like a sexual icon. But I'm like, you don't even have a solid fan base right now. You know
what? It's funny you mentioned that because that was the topic of controversy a week ago with another female MC, but we're not going to go into that.
Wait a minute. Yes, we are. What are you talking about?
No, I can't say. It's a conversation for after the podcast.
Oh goodness.
Wait,
are you talking about Nitty Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, we can talk about that.
I just don't want her hopping in my mentions yelling at me.
Yeah, I read LJ's article about that. But what were you about to say, Gary?
I was going to say, while we're on the subject of female rappers, what do you guys think of Remy Ma getting out of prison? And I think she's already got a song with Khaled. I haven't heard it yet, though.
Yeah, she did. She did a verse to that "They Don't Love You No More" remix.
Okay.
I don't hate her as an artist, but I don't love her, so I didn't really care. I think me not caring is more a result of her being affiliated with Papoose, more so than her. So it was like, when she got out, I was like, okay, big deal. But I haven't listened to the song just yet. But I hope that she does a good job. Any artist that can possibly dethrone Iggy or Nicki right now, I'm game. Let's do it.
I didn't really care for Remy's music before she got locked up. There was like one or two songs that I remember liking from her, so like I wasn't really a big fan. So I mean, her getting out, yeah, kudos. You know, you're out now, you're free. That's cool. But like I'm not checking for the music.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I can hear you on that. Were you checking for it, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear what she's got to say. To be honest, I want to hear, what kind of music she's gonna come with. If she's rusty, or if she's gonna come out swinging and come for the top spot.
Well, the problem with her is now that she got released during the social media age, so everything that she releases is going to be critiqued heavily. Whereas when she was the last time she released music and was out, it was before social media really took off, and
Yeah,
so like it took a while for for people to comment on stuff.
Yeah, that's a big segment, but that's true. That's definitely true. But hopefully she'll come out, shooting on all cylinders. I'm gonna listen to that track right after I get out of here, and I'll see what's up. But speaking on dethroning them and what Joe was saying, I listened to Nitty Scott way back, and like I was legit having Facebook chat conversations with this chick when she was coming up, and I miss and I actually thought that she was gonna be like the next dope female MC, which she still is, but now it's becoming for different reasons, and that really sucks because like I was attributing her to kind of a Jean Grey style,
Mm-hmm.
which is really sad that Jean Grey couldn't get to the level of notoriety that I think she deserves. But I thought Nitty was headed in that right direction, especially when she did the Flower Child joint and had the Kendrick feature. I was like, oh, she's shooting right off. And then all of a sudden, her whole image changed because she used to have that
Schoolgirl kind of appeal.
yeah, schoolgirl and like a early '90s, late '80s MC kind of look to her and style to her.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's on the super hippie stuff, and she's definitely using her figure to sell now and to gain a following. And just like I said before, I'm not in these guys' pockets. So, I mean, they got to do what they got to do. But that is a shame. Like, just because I understand it doesn't mean I have to agree with it. And it's a shame to see her turn like this. And, Gary, did you ever listen to her before? Or listen to her now?
yeah, I've listened to her before. I can't really recall the name of the songs, which is a shame because I like New York rappers and everything. But
Exactly. Yeah. And we always talk about how New York doesn't support its artists, and she was getting a good push.
yeah,
But I
yeah. I
don't know
mean,
what
it's
happened.
always a shame when any like female artist, whether it's rap or R&B, pop, whatever, has to resort to sexualizing themselves to try and sell records. And
Yeah,
I
because
think society needs to change in that regard.
I definitely agree. And like, I think
Especially
Nikki is trying to, I guess, say that that's what she's doing when she makes those comparisons or whatever. I think her approach is more so on the white women get away with this and black women can't do this kind of thing, more so than just women being objectified. Period. And I don't know. I think she should use her platform to get further without having to do all that. But we're talking about the same person that went with this whole schizophrenic crap just to get popular. So maybe I'm asking too much. But Joe, did you listen to Nitty a lot?
No, I actually had never heard of her until I started writing with LJ and you guys.
Gotcha. Did you listen to her stuff around that time?
No, I don't think I've listened to like maybe one or two songs and I don't recall them.
Gotcha. Well, I don't even know if she's still part of like the whole Boombox family thing that she was pushing before. I don't think it fits the imagery that she's going with now, but hopefully we'll see something change. Also, the next topic is there possibly a new Kanye album coming this year? And on top of that, do you care enough after what happened with Yeezus? Joe?
You know
I'm
what? Um, I'll give him another chance after Yeezus. I'll give him another chance. I like that second half of Yeezus as a lot more than the first half. Like I've given Yeezus like 3 separate times to like win me over. Like I listened to it the first week it came out and it's like no, and then like 6 months later and 6 months after that. So
I've done the same thing.
yeah, so I'll give him another chance. That snippet I heard over the weekend though, for I think it's called All Day, he was snapping on that.
Okay. I haven't listened to that yet, so
somebody, where did I see it at? I think I found it on Fake Shore Drive.
Gotcha. Gary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Kanye fan. I like Kanye. I like his music, but I was disappointed by Yeezus. It sounded like a hot mess to me. Like I didn't even like the way it was mixed. Like it just sounded horrible to me. But I'm definitely gonna give him another chance though, because some of his albums are my favorite albums of like all time. Graduation is my favorite album of his, and of course College Dropout, and
Late Registration is like one of my favorites ever.
Yeah, Late Registration too.
Yeah. I guess this is a good example of giving an artist a clean slate, because he definitely needed one after Yeezus. Because that joint was trash.
And that's the thing. Everybody that I've talked to that I know has said that Yeezus sucked to them. But if you look on Twitter and you see all of these people saying that Yeezus is like one of his best albums, it's so confusing.
I don't understand it, and I never will. Like, in my mind, they are trolling, and they just won't stop trolling. Because there's no way, like, listen to the album. I've done the same thing you did. I kept going back to it. Like, that album and Food and Liquor 2, I keep going back to them, hoping that something changed. But it doesn't. And, like, on Yeezus, I ended up liking Blood on the Leaves.
Yep.
And I think the song right after that. Bound 2 is good, but it's not as good as people were making it out to be. And I think they were just saying that because it was the closest thing they could get to a really dope old Kanye track on there.
Yep.
And I like the parody video. The parody video with Franco and Rogan is what made me listen to that song more. Have you seen that yet, Gary?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna link you to that for sure.
You know what's crazy though is shouts to Alexis. Her Twitter's @MusicOverPeople. She probably gave the most brilliant explanation of like Yeezus and what it is, and she said that I can't remember word for word, but I remember her saying that this was Kanye mentally. He was scattered.
Yeah, I remember when she said that.
Like we were getting an inside look at what was going on in his head with Yeezus.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense because like when you look at all the other projects, it was along the same line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember trying to explain that to some of the ridiculous Kanye, or not even Kanye stans, but Yeezus stans.
Yeah, there's like a separate club. There's like Kanye stans, and then there's this little side room of Yeezus people.
Yeah, because the Kanye stans aren't even like Yeezus was amazing. They're looking at them ridiculous too. Like, what are you thinking? No, Yeezus was not good by any shake of the imagination. But people will be, so that's what they'll do. But in my mind, they're trolling. But shouts out to another affiliate of ours, RJ, who actually used to write for the Coalition. His Twitter handle is @G3NIUSRJ, @GeniusRJ. And on his website, Waiting Words, he did an article about a chink in Kendrick Lamar's armor.
I'm so glad you followed up.
What was that?
That pause between chink and the rest of it was kind of long.
My bad. A chink in his armor, Kendrick Lamar, because he's heralded as one of the better MCs in hip hop right now, and I have to agree in a sense. But one of the glaring flaws for Kendrick Lamar is that on tracks outside of hip hop, he is not as strong. His voice and his cadence and his lyrics just do not translate as well. in most cases. There are very rare cases where it does work, like he did a track with Mayor Hawthorne, and he did the track with Imagine Dragons, where I think it worked out. But in other instances, like an Alicia Keys track, which was on the Spider-Man soundtrack, it just doesn't work, and it's really bad. But that leads me to this question: does an artist's versatility define them within their native genre? Like, for example, Kanye is a prime example. Is the fact that he can do the singing stuff, even though it's with auto-tune, does that make him one of the better rappers or just a better artist? Well, I'll start with Gary on that one.
I see. I'm a hip hop purist, so for me personally, like I don't think this goes against him in any way, shape or form, because within his genre he is one of the best, and I don't think it's right to discredit him for that. But I mean, obviously, music has to grow and transcend, its own genre and everything. So, in that sense, okay, yeah, maybe he's no Drake, when he does these crossover songs and stuff. But in my eyes, he doesn't have to be, because the thing is, like, I always have these little arguments because I'm around a lot of people who are like casual hip hop listeners, or they only listen to mainstream stuff, and a lot of them don't like Kendrick. But I'm like, he's nice, like he's one of the best doing it right now.
Yep.
But obviously they like the Drakes, the Lil Waynes, and all the big mainstream artists. So it's an ongoing argument that's always going to continue. Like it's like in battle rap, it's bars over antics and performance, whatever.
It seems
Same
like
kind of thing. Like,
yeah, it seems like when people say that though, like that they only like the mainstream artists and stuff, and don't like someone like Kendrick, who is obviously a talented rapper. It makes me think that they don't like people that make them think in any form.
exactly.
What do you think, Joe?
I don't know. That's a tough question. Like, that's really hard for me to decide. I think it's like, the way I would compare it is like to being a basketball player. Like, you have a certain skill set, and then once you try going outside of that skill set, they tend to criticize you a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think with Kendrick and like the whole R&B features and stuff, yeah, some of them are cool, or like the features outside of like rap. Some of them are alright, but then there's others like the Robin Thicke one that was just super weird.
Oh, but yeah, that one was really bad.
But the thing was, Kendrick knew he had to do that to get top 40 spins.
True.
So regardless, he wanted to get those top 40 spins, so he did the verse. So I think
he still doesn't sound like, his verses are not bad. They just don't sound. They sound out of place.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody found a blank, like a Kendrick verse just laying around, like, hey, let me throw this on this song.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I think it kind of does. I think the versatility defines them. So like, if they're not able to be versatile, and that's why a lot of people like Drake, is because he's probably one of the most versatile artists out right now.
But my issue with the Drake thing is, like, all right, so you have the versatility, but when, like, all right, so you have a rapper, and then they can kind of sing, and that just makes them automatically a better rapper. But why not put them up against people that actually sing? Like, on my perspective, I think Fonte is a much better artist than Drake. He's a much better singer and a rapper, in my opinion. That is my opinion. And I'm like, look at the albums that Fonte has done singing, which, I mean, he won a Grammy for one of them, I think on the third album. And I'm like, it's really good songwriting and really good singing. And when he raps, it's really good rapping. Drake is a really good rapper, but a really crappy singer. And
see, I don't think that. I actually think Drake's a better singer than he is a rapper. I think because Take Care resonated more with me, and that's the album that he sung more on.
Right.
And a lot of it was the situation I was going through at the time, so it helped. But at the same time,
Man, I think it's because you get to sing out of key with him. You relate to it.
No, because then I would just say Future.
Yeah, Future is definitely that. But I mean, he found a way to exploit the system, and he made it big. So, I mean, I can't knock the man's hustle.
I think Drake is not like as a rapper. Drake is nice. Like he can spit. It's just that he chooses to. He knows what he's doing. He chooses.
He knows where the money is.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is people coming at me like, "Hey, Drake is the best rapper in the game." No, I'll say this: Drake is the best entertainer right now.
I could agree with that.
You throw him on a feature, it sells. You throw him in a video, it sells. I mean, and I forget that he's an actor. He's the best entertainer. And it's actually surprising that he hasn't capitalized on that more with like acting roles and stuff like that, because that's where he started. But maybe the whole thing with him hosting the ESPYs will lead into more stuff. But yeah, I definitely agree he is the best entertainer, but lyrically, flow-wise, he is not the best rapper.
Nah.
Not even close.
No, by a long shot.
No. And I'm like, Kendrick, I mean, there's a lot of people you can even argue are better than Kendrick, but I like Kendrick. As far as mainstream rappers go, I'm glad that Kendrick got to where he is, sticking to kind of his roots. And sticking to being a strong, rapper and stuff, and not having to dive off into the singing that Drake does. He actually found a way to make songs that hit the Billboard charts, but not completely compromise his message.
But see, that's the thing. I mean, granted, Drake probably wasn't singing on Room for Improvement and Comeback Season and, those kind of things as much as he was on So Far Gone, but people know him from So Far Gone. And from there, he hasn't changed. He raps and he sings just like he did on So Far Gone, which is the same thing for Kendrick off of Overly Dedicated and Kendrick Lamar EP. Like the same flows, the same like style of rapping. Like none of that has changed for either of them since those projects.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, because C4, which is a project that a lot of people act like it doesn't exist, which I'm one of those people. That was Kendrick's joint before
the Kendrick Lamar EP.
Yeah, and it was very different. He was on some Lil Wayne type stuff. His flow was still pretty potent there, because like the features he did on the other people's projects, on like Absol stuff, it was still potent stuff. But he changed that formula after C4. I don't know where it clicked for him, but it worked. And then with Drake, you're right. So Far Gone is where it picked up. And I think with So Far Gone, he saw that money coming in from singing and the R&B type stuff, and he just was like, I'm going to go ahead and run with this. And, I mean, you can't knock the dude for it. Like I said, not in his pockets. But.
Well, they developed a whole sound. With So Far Gone, they developed a whole sound. Him and 40 and Boy Wonder.
Yeah, that's true. Especially with 40.
Like that is somebody described it as like listening to your music underwater.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine tweeted that, and I think I retweeted it. But yeah, it's like you listen to a beat and they just drop the speakers underwater.
Yeah.
That's true. That's exactly what it sounds like, but it works.
Yeah, it works.
40 is a dope producer. and you most times when you're listening to a 40 track. So yeah, Drake might not even be where he is right now without 40, because I don't think he was working with him before So Far Gone. So there's that. But jumping into
like with the Kendrick thing though, do you think eventually, if he continues this way and he can't cross over to mainstream as well as other artists, do you think that we'll see his popularity plummet in the mainstream? Because that's one of the things that annoys me about the mainstream is the politics behind it. So like, do you guys think that will hurt him in any way?
I think it'll be like, how Rick Ross was trying to cross over to like the pop charts and stuff when he first came out? I think it'll wind up like that, where like he can't cross over to that, but he's so good at what he does with rapping that he'll still be a mainstay in like urban radio and like just that whole culture in general.
Yeah, as much as I would like to say that it won't affect him if he sticks to what he's doing, I always remember what happened with Lupe. It's always going to happen at some point. It's just you got to roll with the punches. And I think that since he's not alone, since he has TDE behind him, I think they'll be able to roll with the punches just fine. Like I think I don't know what happened with Absol, but I think they found a formula over there to remain successful.
Because they're all different artists too, so like they all like all of their like lyricism and all that kind of talent and stuff combined. I mean that they can, if they were all one rapper, they could probably cross over.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully, as a collective, they figure out a way to keep them going.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Schoolboy Q stuff is not gonna. It's always gonna stay at that level where he is right now.
You know what's funny though is Schoolboy has crossed over more on top 40 charts.
Yeah, he has. And I've always thought that he had more of a strength on that side of things anyway. Like with radio play and stuff like that, I've always attributed that more to him. Like I saw Schoolboy and Absol as two extremes. Schoolboy was the one that make the top 40 charts, and Absol was the guy that would never touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And Kendrick found a way to balance that in the middle. So
and J-Rock robs everybody.
Yes, J-Rock robs everybody. And which I still want a J-Rock project because every verse he does, man, on these features.
I just don't know. I just don't know if he's strong enough, like, for me to keep listening to for an album. Like, I love his guest features. I didn't listen to the last one.
Listen to the last one. I kid you not, you will enjoy it.
I like his guest features, so I don't want it to ruin it for me if I listen to an album.
You want him to stay like
I want to. Exactly. I just want a guest feature, and that's it.
I don't know. Well, you know what? That's another list that we need to make right there. People that should only do guest features, like Busta Rhymes.
There's a lot of those.
Speaking of, you know what? Since like this last topic is a complete joke, and it reminds me of something that happened. Did y'all see the Toyota, I think, commercial with Busta Rhymes in it?
What is it?
It's a Toyota. It's called the Swagger Wagon. And it's this white suburban family.
Of course it is, because why wouldn't it be?
Rapping about the Swagger Wagon and all of the things that it, like the white people problems that it helps them get through with the Swagger Wagon. And they have Busta Rhymes featured at the end of this track. And it's a music video, and it's basically, I think they use it as a commercial, but I saw it online. I haven't seen it on TV. But yeah, it is terrible. It's so bad. I don't understand why Busta Rhymes even did this for any kind of money.
Okay, let me ask. Is it worse than the kids rapping about Kmart from last year?
I didn't see that one.
Oh my god, that was awful. We used to play it at my old job. That commercial got played at my old job. It was awful.
Actually, yes, I did see that one, and it is worse. You know why? It's worse because it takes itself more serious than the Kmart one did.
Jesus.
Like, they are legit taking themselves serious, especially the dad out of the bunch. Just watch it. It's ridiculous, and I'm really sad. It set us back. It set Busta Rhymes back because I was singing his praises on the last podcast, talking about the 2 tracks he put out were dope, and then that happened.
This is why you can't trust a guy who goes from really muscular to really out of shape.
Really quick.
Real quick. Real quick.
0 to 400 real quick.
Did he leave Cash Money or something recently?
Yeah. I think that was not too long after the last podcast. He left Cash Money. I didn't know that. Yeah, they didn't even put out an album for him.
But I thought that's what he was working on.
That's the problem with signing to Cash Money is like they bring you in to work on an album, but then you start working on other people's projects, and then that's what they bring you in for. And then it's like, you know how you use a tube of toothpaste and it's all wrung out and stuff? That's what they do to get Cash Money.
Well, I hope he still finishes that project because I think it would have been pretty dope.
Because if you look at it, if you look at Cash Money the last few years, who's the only people to drop projects from Cash Money?
Drake and Nicki.
And technically Wayne too. So those 3 are it.
Well, big three, man. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. But going into another comedic happening,
Jesus.
the Michael Bay is ruining the.
He's ruining our lives.
He's ruining everything. Everything he touches, he ruins.
Yeah, he already ruined Transformers. Next up in films that he's ruined, which I think he ruined something in between then. I don't know. I got to think back on that. But he's doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that he didn't want to be teenage or mutant at one point. Thank goodness the backlash from that changed because he wanted them to be from space. But he's doing the TMNT movie, and apparently there's a very, very terrible song out called Shell Shocked.
It's so awful. It's so awful.
Shell Shocked by Ty Dolla $ign, Wiz Khalifa, and Juicy J. And you've heard the song. I haven't heard the song, but you speak on the song, sir.
Oh my God. Okay. This is like telling me to go put my dog down. Like, it's that bad. Like, okay, I'm a huge Ty Dolla $ign fan. Like, I love everything Ty Dolla $ign does. Juicy J, in this like third wind in his career, has done like nothing bad to me until now. Like, the song, it just sounds. And you know what's funny is, like, we have this article where Vanilla Ice is basically dissing the song. And I fully 100% agree with Vanilla Ice because it sounds manufactured. Like, it sounds like they were just like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about on this song. Or actually, the studio heads came in and said, this is what you have to talk about on this song, so make a song.
Yeah. Like, my question is, who in the world thought of Wiz Khalifa, Juicy J, and Ty Dolla $ign for the Ninja Turtles anyway?
Yeah, like, that makes absolutely no sense to me, unless, like, Wiz Khalifa looks like a Ninja Turtle.
Maybe that's the closest thing. Because I'm like, you want to do a family-oriented movie or whatever, like,
I think they're trying to go away from that though on this one, because it looks like if you look at the promotions and like the movie art and all that kind of stuff and like the previews, like it's all dark. It's really, really dark.
Regardless, we know everything is gonna blow up.
Everything. He turned Shredder into a Transformer.
I did not know this.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't watch. I don't want to watch any more of the trailers because I'm not going to go see it when it comes out. I didn't go see Transformers.
I didn't go see Transformers, but I owe it to myself. I owe it to 7-year-old me to go see this and see if he likes it.
Like, no, I owe it to myself not to go.
Just because I love the Turtles, man, so I'm going to see it, but I know it's going to be trash. I'm going in there expecting it to be trash, but I need to see it.
I love the Turtles too. Like, I still own a copy of the old TMNT regular Nintendo game that I don't think anyone could ever beat, where it was just Raphael on there. Like,
oh my God,
there was no other Turtles that I remember, unless I just didn't get farther. But like that and Turtles in Time and all that in the arcade game, I had the comics. I watched all the different shows, and I don't want to watch Michael Bay ruin my childhood. Like, he's about to come for my dad's childhood with Thundercats next. Like, he's trying to take us all out.
Really? Are you serious?
Yes, he's doing the next Thundercats.
Oh, Jesus. Yo, I swear to God, if Michael Bay directs Voltron, I will riot.
No, he's coming for generation after generation. I don't know why they're giving him the license to do it. He has a license to kill all of our hopes and dreams right now. And it's happening.
Do you guys watch South Park?
I barely do.
There's this episode. It's called Imagination Land, and they're trying to figure out how to get Butters back from this Imagination Land. And so they're bringing in all these movie directors, and Michael Bay's one of them. He says, first, we start with a CGI tower, and then boom! And they're basically asking him for a plot, and they're like, no, that's not a plot. Those are explosions.
That's pretty much how it goes with him. Oh, goodness. Okay, random thing I just saw. So Lil' Kim has jumped on the Flawless remix to diss Nicki Minaj. I thought this was over with.
How can Lil' Kim diss anybody looking like that?
thought this was over. I thought she gave up.
Yeah, why is she still rapping? Like, she needs to retire or like be on
Yeah,
a TV show or
either
something,
like
like a chat show or something like
retire
that.
or just stop dissing Nicki. It's not working. You've tried this already. I was excited for like 2 seconds when she first was about to start that off, and then I listened to the song and I was like, I'm good. You've lost it. Like if it said Remy takes on the flawless remix to diss her, then I'd be a little bit more interested. But she gotta let it go. But to round everything up, do you guys have any new projects that you're looking forward to, or new artists that you've encountered over the last? I know Joe, you're running a new artist like every day.
I don't know. I post so much music every day, like I sometimes can't even think. As of now, I don't think there's anything I'm looking forward to except for that Ty Dolla $ign album.
When does that come out?
Should be fall or winter. I'm hoping. I haven't heard anything about a release date though.
Did you finally listen to that Next to It track? The Lupe and Ty Dolla $ign?
No, I still haven't listened to that. I need to though.
Yeah, I'll shoot it to you on Twitter. Gary, what about you?
Yeah, I saw that new Cameron EP dropped, so I'm gonna check that out. I listened to the last one, and I wasn't really feeling it that much. Like, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of Cameron's new music. I like a lot of his old stuff, but maybe I just need to listen to it more because sometimes it takes me like a while to listen to something and really start liking it. So
I forgot
just need to listen to it more.
I forgot about that because I grabbed it the other day. That second one's a lot better than the first one. I like the first one, but the second one is a lot better than the first one.
Okay, that's good. I'm definitely gonna check that out, and I also want to check out Schoolboy Q as well, because I feel like I haven't listened to enough of him, and I know you guys talk about him a lot, so I feel like I need to listen to more of his stuff.
Yeah, you definitely need to listen to more.
And Absol too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like listen to all of his old stuff and then just come up from there. And I'll send you like pieces of these days to listen to. But,
Not that DJ Mustard song. Don't make him endure that.
Oh, so bad. Like I need to do a rant about that. Yeah, it's so bad. But I've been doing the playlist. If you're not aware, we drop a playlist every Monday, of about 7 or 8 tracks or so. And on the second one, there was this group called Black Boulevard from London. I found out about them because Zilla from Zillanoise.com was posting a lot about them. And I checked out their first track, and it was amazing. And they just put out a new one called Fall in Love, I believe, and it's on this week's playlist. I'm looking forward to whatever they put out next because these guys are ill. Like, their production is dope. The flow is ridiculous. Did you listen to their tracks on the playlist, Gary?
I haven't listened to the new one yet.
Gotcha.
But as for like, I'm excited actually to hear that because lately, like, because the UK used to have such a good hip hop scene like a few years ago, but then everything went really like techno and just garbage. So
Yeah.
if you say it's hot, then I'm looking forward to hearing it because we definitely need an intervention or something over here. Like we need some good music.
Boy, I'll tell you, man, they sound like they are going to be leading the charge in kind of a renaissance over that way. They are super dope. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in for this third episode. Sorry that we did not have one last week. Conflicting schedules didn't allow us to make one. As you know, one of our guests, Gary, is in the UK. So, it's like, 2 in the morning right now?
Yeah, 2:27 a.m.
Gotcha. Yeah, so thank you for tuning in. Do you guys have any last words?
Free Gucci Man.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
G-Unit.
This is what I'm going to have to deal with at the end of every podcast, man.
Every podcast.
All right. Thank y'all, and y'all take care and tune in next week and check the playlist. Go to coalition.com. You.